Come to La Vida Club at midnight. If you're ready to change your life. I never wanted to kill anyone. I keep telling myself that, but the blood on my hands says otherwise. It all started with one decision. One job that was supposed to change my life forever. Dell, my childhood friend, had promised me easy money. Just drive a car, Chuka. That's all I had to do. That night, as I sat behind the wheel of a black SUV, waiting outside an abandoned warehouse, I should have walked away. But greed is a funny thing. It whispers to you, tells you it's just once, just this time. The moment the doors flew open and two men dragged a screaming man into the back seat, I knew I was in too deep. I didn't ask questions. I just drove, and that was the night I became a criminal. I should have left. I should have walked away after that first job. But when Dale took me to see Alhaji Kazeem, the man who ran everything, I lost my soul.
You did well, Chuka. I like a man who asks no questions.
He slid a brown envelope across the table. I didn't even need to open it to know. This was more money than I had ever seen in my life. I told myself I would take it and disappear. But money is never enough. And when Alhaji Kazeem gave me my next job, I didn't hesitate. That was the beginning of the end. We had done jobs before. Kidnappings, threats, collections. But this one was different. Kill him. That was the order. I looked at the man kneeling before me, trembling, begging, a banker who had stolen from Alhaji Kazeem. Dele placed the gun in my hand. My fingers trembled. I had never killed before. I was just supposed to drive. But Alhaji Kazeem was watching. His cold eyes bore into me. I pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoed in my skull for days. I was no longer just a driver. I was a killer. I should have known there was no way out. I started noticing things, money missing, people disappearing. Deal had started acting differently too. Less like my friend, more like my boss. Then one night, I overheard the conversation. Chuka is getting too smart. Maybe it's time we clean up. Clean up. They were planning to kill me. I ran. But they were faster. The police found me first. They charged me with murder, with kidnapping, with crimes I hadn't even committed. But I knew the truth. Alhaji Kazeem and Dale had paid them off. They needed me out of the way. So I was thrown behind bars, and that's when the real nightmare began. Prison is not for the weak, and I was already a dead man walking. The first attack came fast. A shank aimed at my ribs. I barely dodged it. The second came in the shower. 3 men, silent, deadly. I fought like an animal, clawing, biting, surviving. I learned fast. Alhaji Kazeem's reach was everywhere. I had 2 options. Die in here or find a way out. Detective Takunbo visited me in prison. He knew I wasn't the mastermind, just a pawn.
Give me Alhaji Kazeem and I'll give you your life.
I knew what that meant. If I talked, I would never be safe. If I didn't, I would die in this hellhole. I made my choice. They staged my escape. A fake prison transfer, a convoy attacked, bullets flying, men dying, and then, in the chaos, I was taken. But not by the police. By Alhaji Kazeem himself. They tied me to a chair in a dark warehouse, the same way we had tied up so many others. Alhaji Kazeem smiled.
I gave you a life, Chuka, and this is how you repay me? Kill yourself, or I'll do it for you.
A gun was placed in my hand. I swallowed. This was it. The end. Unless a knock at the door. Then gunshots. The police raided the warehouse. Chaos erupted. I broke free, grabbed a gun, and then I saw him, Alhaji Kazeem, running. For once he was the one afraid. I chased him down. We faced each other, gun to gun. I should have pulled the trigger, but I didn't. I let the police take him. Let them drag him away, screaming. Somewhere inside, I knew this wasn't the end. Men like Alhaji Kazeem always find a way out. But so would I. Months later, the headlines screamed, "Alhaji Kazeem walks free." I sat in a quiet bar, watching the news. I wasn't surprised. A man like him? He had bought his freedom long before he was arrested. But I'd learned something in prison. There's only one way to end a monster like him. I walked into his favorite restaurant. He was waiting, smiling.
I knew you'd come back. Let's make money, Chuka.
I sat down, slid a gun under the table. My finger rested on the trigger. I could kill him. Right now. Right here. End it. Or take his place. Become what I once feared. I smile. A single gunshot.